Hey, what's good? This is Black Authentic Truth, and what I want to talk about is the fact that as Black people, we don't take our history seriously. Like lately, what I've been seeing is, and I think it may be just because in Black Wall Street, you have three survivors, and lawyers are trying to get reparations and get those wrongs righted for those three survivors and the families of the victims of Black Wall Street. Also, what I heard is that Russell Westbrook is going to do, he's going to have a documentary remade on Black Wall Street. And what I see on social media is a lot of Black people talking about Black Wall Street. It's trending right now. It's like real trendy. It's what's popping right now. I seen P Diddy do a video about it, and I'm just seeing like all of this fake. To me, in my opinion, it's a lot of fake love for Black history and bringing out the truth of what happened in Black Wall Street. Now, of course, Black Authentic Truth, or what I do is I go into the history and I just basically bring out stories that are not the mainstream stories. So that's what I do. That was my main focus 2 years ago, is to bring out stories that are not the stories we usually hear. As a Black boy growing up, of course, during Black History Month, I would always hear about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, who else? W.E.B. Du Bois. Who else? For one reason, I don't know why this brother sticks in my head, but I think I got an idea. It was Crispus Attucks was the first person to die, first Black person to die, I believe, in the Revolution early on in America. I remember during Black History Month, we all had to pick a person. And one of my friends, that was his guy. That was the person he had to learn about. And we made fun about him with the name Crispus Attucks or whatever, but it stuck with me all the way till I'm a grown man now, and Crispus Attucks has stuck with me. And maybe I might do a Black Authentic special on that brother. The thing is that I remember all of the token Black people, that we hear about every Black History Month. It's the same Black people that they use all the time and time again. It's the same token Black people. So with Black Authentic Truth, I wanted to do something where I was talking about Black people, bringing up things that happen in Black history that are not mainstream, that nobody has ever heard before. And I got a lot of feedback where Black people were telling me, hey, wow, I never actually heard about this story before. So that was something that I wanted to do. Also, just reading and learning was a passion for me. History, that's something that's part of a passion. That's not something that I want to do to get, likes and to get, people to follow me or subscribe to my page and none of that. I started Black Authentic Truth just because I wanted to express myself in that manner. And then it started to gain a following, right? This is how it started. It started to gain a following. And so I said, wow, a lot of Black people they really appreciate what I'm doing. They appreciate the fact that they're learning something or hearing about a story they never heard before. Now, getting back to Black Wall Street has been around. Like, that's common knowledge in conscious circles with Black people. It's not mainstream, but let's be honest, like, it's been memes on social media about Black Wall Street for like 10 years, probably more than that. I know I've been seeing it for a long time, but it was never mainstream. It's more like, did you know? Like, it's like something that when you see it, you're like, wow, I didn't know that this existed. I didn't know that they had it popping like this. Not to mention, it's a whole bunch of small towns that were built by Black people coming out of slavery that you've never heard of. I've even did videos on some of them. So the information has always been out there. It's been out there, but I don't like the fact that now that it's like trending in the news, now Black people want to start posting about Black Wall Street this, Black Wall Street that, our ancestors this and that. And to me, that's fake love. It's not genuine for your people, because you're doing it because it's trending. It's what's going on. It's popping. It's what you see right now. It's popular right now. And I feel as black people, we need to be 100% black history 365 days of the year. We can't pick and choose the time when we want to talk about our history, because our history is us. Our history is who we are, you know, and a lot of times because we've become so detached and desensitized, and we live in this bubble in America, we forget, or we don't want to deal with the fact of the cruelty and the just horrific things that happened to our people, happened to us back in the past. We would rather just scratch that and forget about it and say, listen, we different today. We live in color, and that was in black and white. That's how our minds work. That's how I feel a lot of black people are. We would rather forget about the atrocities that happened to our foreparents, foremothers, and forefathers, and just act like we live now. This is a different time. And, you know, that happened then, but, you know, that was back then. You know what I mean? And when you look at other groups, you look at other people, they don't do that. They don't separate themselves from their ancestors. You know what I mean? The people of the Holocaust, their descendants don't separate themselves from their family members and their nation that was killed in the Holocaust. They don't do that. But black people do. It's like we're forced to disassociate ourselves with our ancestors and act as though those things didn't happen to us, and put on smiles and hug everybody and extend love to one another. But all of that hugs and love ain't returned to us as a nation of people. That respect is not returned to us as a nation of people. It's not given back. It's not reciprocated. Right. So the point I'm making about Black Wall Street is Black Wall Street was amazingly great. It was dope. And it was at a time when we were segregated. There has never been a better time. Hear me good. There's never been a better, you can't show me a better time for black people than when black people coming from about, I'm not going to say when quote unquote slavery supposedly had ended in 1865, but I'll say like 1890, the 1890s to like the 1920s. There has never been a better time for black people coming out of slavery, whereas black people put their stake in the ground and did for self, relied on self, and was self-sufficient, right? And knew that nobody else loved them, so they had to love one another and work with one another. And the sting and the pain coming out of slavery was still instilled in them of what had happened to their ancestors. And so that's why you can go back and see these great towns, these great cities that were self-sufficient, where black people wasn't asking anybody for anything, trying to join or expect anything from anybody. They just did for themselves. They had major talents, major abilities, because if you think about it, black people did all the work. We had all the skills from the inside of the home of the plantation to the outside of the home of the plantation. We carried a lot of skills, not to mention just off top, just being born. Black people are very special, very talented, and have a lot of flavor and gifts off tops. But the point is that you can't show me another time in history another era in history where black people were better off than that era. And I will dare somebody to show me a time period in history where black people were more better than that era, just coming out of slavery and establishing ourselves, building towns like Weeksville in less than 11 years coming out of slavery, right? In less than 11 years coming out of slavery. So the point is that we have to actually be about our history, be about learning, and not be ignorant, and not try to hop on the bandwagon of social media when it's cool to talk about things that happen in black history. Like, right. That's why it irks me, because we act like we cannot get this information on our own, and we can't do this on a regular basis. Social media has so much BS that's on it, so much trash, so much things that don't matter, don't mean nothing. And yet Our ancestors could not go into a library. Today, you have a library at the tip of your fingertips, a cell phone. You literally can look up anything. You literally can learn any definition of any word. You literally can go and you literally can be a scholar yourself. All a scholar is somebody that study something. You literally, as a regular black person, can be a scholar yourself, right? And so we don't do that. We wait till it's trending on social media to want to repost and say, yeah, this is our family. We need to stand on the back of our ancestors. We need to come together. We need to not forget, when we should be doing this 365 days of the year. So I just want to know people's opinion, black people, everybody that follow me. You know what I mean? Let me know what you think about what I just said. Do we always jump on the bandwagon when it comes to our history? Do we try to separate ourselves and forget our history and act like it never happened and be, in a way, ashamed of what happened to us? Or do we never forget? Or do we, pull out historical facts and things on a regular basis as black people? I'm not talking about the people that's been on it, because a lot of people get credit, like the celebrities and everything, for talking about these things. But there is black people in the social media world. There is black people that been doing this. There's black people that don't get that love, don't get that support, don't get all the follows and all the views. And they've been doing this, right? It's not until it's trendy and a celebrity talks about it. Now it's, it's on everybody's timeline. Everybody is talking about it. Everybody want to repost and share. Nah, do that all the time. Do that on your own. You know what I mean? Don't be fake about it. Be real about it. Be real about, loving your people and wanting to know everything that happened to your people. Be real about it. Like when I was growing up, it used to be a saying about the past, meaning if you don't learn your past, you're bound to repeat it. And I can put it this way: when it comes to protesting, when something happens to one of us and we out there protesting, well, that happened in history. If you go into history, you'll see that we're repeating the same things that happened a long time ago. When your grandparents was young people, when your great grandparents, right? That happened already. But there's something to be learned in looking back and seeing what happened. How did they solve this issue? Did it happen again? What were the steps that they took back then, so that you don't repeat it? Better yet, that the same thing don't keep happening to you, right? So knowing your history is paramount. Knowing, your heritage is everything, because at the end of the day, we are our ancestors. So let me know what you think about this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share my videos. Let's beat this algorithm, get my views up. I'm going to keep coming out with thought-provoking things that make black people think. And with that, this is Black Authentic Truth.